Now it's time for the gaming and tech section. This week we're talking about the Skydance Interactive is giving us their best interpretation of a classic arty video game. We'll get there. We have the Silent Hill transmission to talk about because there is a little bit to chew on, as well as the the PSVR 2. Woohoo, so many letters. PSVR 2 finally adapting to PC? Question mark? All of that and a little bit more. So let's get into the gaming and tech. Welcome, nerds, to this week's edition of the Gaming and Tech News, generally speaking. Now, I'm no Linus or Spawnwave or Gamers Nexus or insert channel that is dedicated to the tech and gaming news here. That's not what you're getting here. This is just enough to keep you informed, generally speaking. We do this just about every week as part of a larger news show called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel. You can find that linked down in the description or at the end of this video. Now let's talk about some gaming and tech and maybe even some like photo, video kind of news as well. All right, so follow-ups, corrections. We do have follow-up on HBO Max. This is the second time in less than a year that this has happened, but subscription prices are going up. Or no, second time in approximately as many years, because it's like once a year. This year they go up to $17 a month, but there's caveats here. So for the regular subscription, it's $17 a month. For the ultimate subscription, it's $21 a month. So that's $1 more each. Or if you're doing the yearly plan, then you knock 2 months off of that payment. So it's 10 payments of 17 or 21 instead of, and you can't do it in payments, but that's the way it breaks down if you think about it that way. Sorry, words. Let's keep going. The standard, though, this is the little caveat. The standard subscription, the base subscription that is ad supported, so you're still giving them money to see ads. It's not that many ads, though. I'm on the standard subscription. Standard subscription is staying at $10. So it's still going to be $10 a month for everyone on the standard subscription. This begins with your next billing cycle, and this is kind of indicative of what we've been seeing with streamers. We're actually going to get into a little bit more in the TV section with how this is breaking down as well, but streamers are just not profitable. So they're going to charge the people who aren't seeing ads more money because that's the only way they can get closer to profitability. But this kind of gives you an idea of how well advertisers pay, because the advertising, the ad supported tier of Max isn't going anywhere. I honestly will be surprised if we see a price increase on the ad supported tier anytime inside of the next 2 to 3 years. We will very likely see more ads on the platform if you're on the ad-supported tier, but we're not going to see more money for the ad-supported tier anytime soon. That's pure speculation on my part, but let's move right along. We do have a couple of trailers to talk about this week in gaming and tech, and I'm super stoked about it. The first one comes from Skydance Interactive. It's for a game called Behemoth. This is, so Skydance Interactive, if you don't know exactly why you know that name, they're the ones that did the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, the VR game for, I believe it was the PlayStation VR 1. They're trying their hand at Shadow of the Colossus this time around. Watch this trailer. There's a little bit more out there. I think there's another video clip with the developers, but I could be mistaken. Either way, there's major shades of Shadow of the Colossus here. It seems like Shadow of the Colossus meets Skyrim in a lot of ways, which is potentially going to be something awesome. I just don't know how I feel about the VR element, because this is a VR game, so it is coming to all VR platforms this fall. The other thing about this is, with it being Skyrim meets Shadow of the Colossus, it's also a Souls-bourn style difficulty. So it's going to be fairly difficult. They did say it's not going to be quite as bad as most FromSoft games, but it is going to be on the more difficult side of things. So this very potentially could be one of those first big properties that kind of shows everyone what you can do on this newish platform, the VR2, because right now they have a backlog of units. They're trying to do whatever they can to sell it, and this is very potentially a step in that direction. I don't think it's going to be a big step in that direction, but a step nonetheless. Next on the trailers list, we do have Mortal Kombat 1 Season 6 has dropped, so Homelander is out. We also are now in the season of the Reptile. So we have Invader Syzoth, or what is it, Titan Syzoth. And this very likely is going to be, is at this point, I think this is a fairly big consensus amongst the Mortal Kombat crowd. This is probably the best season we've had so far as like the skins go. The things that you can unlock for free inside of the season. These skins look pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I'm super excited about this. I'm actually probably gonna play Invasions this season because I want a lot of those skins. I'm not just going to try and get all the Scorpion and Sub-Zero skins. I'm very potentially going to try and get all of the special skins this season. There are also some premium skins that they revealed in the trailer. Actually, one specific premium skin that they revealed in the trailer in the Homelander gameplay that seems like it's going to do a lot for the community as well. It's Melina in this like street cyberpunky almost kind of look, and it's showing off a lot of legs, so I know all of the incel types are going to be super excited about that, and all of the Melina stands who just love that character are gonna go crazy, I know. So yeah, pretty excited for that. Go check out that trailer. The other trailers for another game that's starting a new season, and that is Halo Infinite. A season of it's a Fracture Tenrai 4th instance. There are some really great armor options for this, though if the previous seasons have been anything to go by, most of the good stuff, if not all of the good stuff, is going to be behind a paywall, so you're going to have to pay real world money to get to the good stuff, and that's what I like about the way Mortal Kombat's doing this. Yes, there are some skins that are behind the paywall, and yes, those skins that are behind the paywall are stupid expensive, but you also get not as cool. I mean, in some cases, definitely as cool. Like as much as I hate the color scheme for it, I really dig the Scorpion with a mohawk. I think that is a cool looking skin aside from the coloring. So like, yeah, I'm totally down for those unique skins that you can get for free. Halo hasn't really been leaning into that as much. You get like one armor set is more appropriate per, what are they calling them now? They're not seasons anymore. I can't think of the word because it's not in the notes, because they take amazing notes. But yeah, either way, it's definitely an interesting juxtaposition when you put those two things side by side. And you have a lot of other modern games that have launched recently. Specifically, I'm thinking about fighting games where skins are a big deal, or FPSs also skins are a big deal. And you have the really big controversy right now with, again, not in the notes because I was listening to him talk about it on WAN show and I didn't put it in the notes for our show. The skin pack for one of the, is it Dota? It's not Dota. Something where it's a $500 skin pack where it's basically you get a couple of weapon skins and your character skin, and it's specially sponsored by a pro gamer, which is one of the reasons why they were able to charge you so much for it. But even the cheap ones this time around for that game, again, I can't think for the life of me what the game's name is, but you'll know what I'm talking about when I say $500 skin pack. But the cheapest of those skin packs is going to be $50. $50 for a skin. It's a character skin and a couple of weapon skins, but that's it. Like, this, somebody please explain this to me. Like, yes, again, I listened to the WAN show, so I know like there is an element of gambling involved. So it's the gambling addiction in younger people that I do not qualify as anymore. That's what they're leaning into with these skin packs and stuff. But like, at least make it semi-reasonable. Like the Street Fighter skins that are, I think those are pushing 15 to 20 bucks. That's kind of beyond reasonable at that point. The Mortal Kombat skins that were 12 bucks, that is barely like I would, considering the way inflation is going and considering, you know, what they use some of the skin money for, because they have at least previously for Mortal Kombat NetherRealm games, they've used some of the money that they make off of those skin packs in order to sponsor community events, i.e. tournaments, so that there is a prize pool for whoever wins the tournament. I know they don't do that with all of the skin packs. I know it's a lot of greed involved, but they at least do that from time to time. So that kind of gives you a little bit more of an incentive, makes you a little bit more okay with paying that kind of money. But you go over to Street Fighter, you go over to Tekken, and you're paying that kind of money just because, like, that just feels so evil, honestly. It just kind of feels gross. So yeah, somebody explained to me beyond just the FOMO or the gambling addiction that it's feeding into. I really don't understand why you would pay that kind of money for a skin. Like, as much as I love Mortal Kombat, I was apprehensive to pay $5 for a skin. And so you damn sure I'm not paying 12, 15 bucks for a skin. Anyway, we're talking way too long about that. Let's move into regular ass news for our other big pieces. This week we got the Silent Hill transmission broadcast up on the YouTube from Konami. Really, this was an hour of talking about Silent Hill 2. There was a little bit beyond that, but not much. Like, it's pretty much not even worth mentioning. They did mention the free game that's on the Steam and the PlayStation Network, literally for like 2 minutes, maybe. It's an hour long and they spent approximately 2 minutes on that one. So it's not in the notes because what the hell. They also talked a little bit about the movie. We got a new trailer for the movie. We're going to talk about it in the movie section, but Return to Silent Hill is a retelling of the story of Silent Hill 2. So it's not exactly a continuation from the first two movies, though there is a lot of similar players involved with that, i.e. the director. So I'd be very interested to see how they mix those two things, if it's going to be a continuation of both the movie franchise and the gaming franchise. I don't really know, but it'll be cool to see. But the big thing here is it was like a 25-minute gameplay trailer of Silent Hill 2, the remake, and wow, this looks so good. Like, it's almost worth buying a PlayStation 5 for, because this franchise is so instrumental in my gaming history. Like, it's really been breaking my heart that it hasn't been on Xbox basically since, I think, the original Silent Hill 2 was on the original Xbox briefly. That didn't really go anywhere past that. Then there was the Silent Hill Downpour, the one where it's raining a lot. That one was also on the Xbox. I believe that was the Xbox 360. But those are the only two that I can recall Silent Hill games that are on the Xbox. So the fact that the reboot is not on the Xbox is really driving me nuts, but it looks so good. Those nurses, it's a minor redesign, but it is still a redesign. The redesigned nurses for this version of Silent Hill 2 are awesome. Like, that is legitimately frightening. That is very much a creepy element to have added to them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you absolutely have to click the link down in the description and go watch the broadcast, because yes, please and thank you. From there, the other piece of regular ass news we got is the PlayStation VR 2 is now finally getting an adapter to play on the PC. Mostly. It's not going to be fully functional on the PC. You will still have the full 3D experience, but they had to scale back some of the capabilities of the unit, most notably HDR, haptic feedback. I think those are the two biggest, like, immersive elements that they had to cut back. But there's a short list of other ones too. Again, link in the description if you're really interested to get the proper breakdown. But if you are considering getting something for your PC, this is still potentially, it's going to be a $60 adapter for your PSVR 2. But even with that $60 adapter, you're still looking at what, $560 in the realm of VR. That's still pretty dang cheap, man. So this is very potentially going to be lowering the bar for entry into the VR landscape as far as being a consumer and wanting to play VR games. This is very much going to be helping with that, even though it is still a little expensive and not fully functional. So, pretty cool. That's what we got though for regular ass news. Let's get into our suggestions for the week. And I tried to find something else to suggest, but I just apparently have one-track mind. That's what the ADHD does. I'm sorry. Homelander launched. I have lost so much sleep over the course of the last 4 days, partially leading into Homelander, and then since Homelander has launched, that I can't think of anything other than Mortal Kombat 1. That is your suggestion for the week. I'm sorry. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.